Welcome to Speaking Holistically, the podcast that explores the power of alternative medicine, natural healing, and homeopathic solutions to help you achieve true wellness. Each week, Dr. Jen and Amy G dive into the world of holistic health, discussing researched, time-tested remedies with expert insights from Dr. Jen, as well as real-life stories from patients to empower you to take charge of your health. So if you're ready to embrace a more natural path to wellness, let's start speaking holistically, because true healing begins from within. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Speaking Holistically. I'm your co-host, Amy G. I'm here with my amazing co-host, Dr. Jen. And today we're doing a simple swap, and I've asked to not know what it is before we start recording, so you can surprise me. What is our simple swap for today?
So our simple swap, and a lot of people may have already done this, but we're going to swap out our, used to be tin foil, and now it's aluminum foil, right?
Ooh.
Definitely getting enough aluminum in our world. So vaccines contain, or used to contain, thimerosal, which was a mercury derivative, but we have like B12 shots that still contain, some of them, not all of them necessarily, but you have to check the packet insert, aluminum that are being directly injected into patients with cyanocobalamin, which we'll talk about on another episode. But we just want no more aluminum. If you're not using it in your deodorant, don't put your food on it. So what do we use instead? So I will tell you, you can use cookie sheets or trays that are stainless steel, not aluminum. So just be aware of that. You can get those at tons of different stores, Amazon, whatever. Just look for the stainless steel cookie sheets and swap the aluminum out. The other thing that we do is we will use this, let's see if we can see this. It's parchment paper. Why is this not, it ain't focusing. So
There,
anyway,
that's pretty good. That's pretty good. It's a little blurry, but yeah, you can read it.
It's non-bleached, or it's unbleached parchment paper. And I did this on purpose with this size because my children like to take the parchment out of the rolls and put that, and it covers 3 times the amount of the cookie sheet when we're cooking something in the oven. So this way, these are literally the size, which is the perfect size to fit on a cookie sheet. And I call it a cookie sheet because my mom called it a cookie sheet, but a baking tray, whatever you want to say.
Who calls it something besides a cookie sheet? That's all I've ever called it.
I don't know. They probably changed the name of it. I have no idea.
I don't know.
So, you know, you can get this. This is up to 450 degrees. It's unbleached, and there's 200 in that pack, and I think it cost me like $15 or something. So for me, it's better than watching my kids roll out the parchment paper, tear it sideways, and then shove it back in the drawer. So it works for me. But so doing that and using it on top, that's an easy way to clean up. And it's a lot healthier than the aluminum foil. Now, there are people that say, oh, I grill, I have to have the aluminum foil. You can actually grill using the parchment paper as well. So like I said, this one is up to 450 degrees. So most people don't have their grill at 500. At that point, they're broiling it, I guess. So just pay attention to what the temperature, you know, the manufacturer has set as the temperature, and you can use that. But you can absolutely grill meats using that if you need to. And most of us are going to stick it on the actual grill ourselves. But the vegetables or whatever else you're putting with it, you can put parchment paper as well. And if it's thick enough, and sometimes people will get it that's non-stick, but then once again, then you got to wonder what's in the non-stick. So, you know. But the thicker the parchment paper, it's less likely to tear, obviously, but it can be used on the grill as well. So we use it to roast vegetables and sometimes cook chicken, you know, all that stuff, because I don't like to deal with a lot of mess. So I will use parchment paper depending on the messier situations.
This is a great tip. I think a lot of people use parchment paper mostly for baking. Like, oh, line your cookie sheet with parchment paper. But I think people will be very surprised to hear that you can grill with it. I don't think most people even know that. We have the rolls of parchment paper. And I'll be honest, because it's thick, it doesn't cut on the serrated edge, you know, the blade or whatever what do you call that? That's inside of
Cutter.
The cutter. You don't, it doesn't, it's hard to get it to tear when you're pulling it from the box. And so I didn't know that these pre-cut ones were available that you can just slap on top of your cookie sheet. I'm definitely going to have to get those. I got to figure out, tell me the link when we get done here. I'll put it in there because I need to get some, because that is a frustrating thing for me personally, is because it is thick. It just doesn't tear very easily. And yeah. So
Yeah, you should see what mine looks like. And like I said, I'm like, why are you using that much? That was enough for three, And they're spatially just not there. So I'm like, that's okay, that's fine, whatever. I had to come up with a solution. So that's what I did. So, but yeah, it does. It works for grilling. It works for putting cookies on it if you want to. We don't bake cookies. My mom, when she comes to town, she'll do that periodically. We roast vegetables, the olive oil, so I don't have to worry about trying to scrub that off and using a ton of water and soap and stuff. So depending on what we're doing, but we regularly do chicken and Brussels sprouts for sure. That's like our biggies that we do, and it just makes it easier. And my husband has an easier time because he overthinks things. So like using the parchment paper just makes it just so much easier than trying to figure out like, what do I do with this or what do I do with that? It takes care of it. So we don't have to use the aluminum foil anymore.
now let me ask this question, because I know a lot of people do bundles on their grills. Do you do bundles where you can put the meat and like the onions and veggies and everything, and you normally would put it in an aluminum foil bundle so it could cook and steam in there? Do you do that with the parchment paper, or can you?
Yep, you just want to pick thicker parchment paper, but yeah, so you can absolutely do that. And depending on how heavy the meat is or anything else, you can absolutely do that. Yeah, okay. We tend to just put our meat directly on the grill. And this isn't part of any of the simple swap, but it can be. So we have moved from the metal bristles on the grill because there's been more and more people having issues with it, those getting caught in the meat and then getting lodged in their throats. So we've switched over, and you can get these other scrubbers that don't have the metal bristles. So that's not part of this simple swap, but
that's okay.
We're talking about it, so I'm like, well, let's just discuss that. So
we say everything in the body's connected, and a lot of times things with products, they're connected,
Grilling is connected for sure.
Yeah.
And a lot of people use lemon, and they used to use lemon, squeezing lemon on their meats and everything that they use on the grill. And the reason is because the type of heat can be so carcinogenic for the foods. It changes like the nitrites and stuff in the meats. So the vitamin C in the lemon actually helps decrease the carcinogenic effect of what's happening to the meat with it being grilled.
Oh, wow.
If you're so inclined, add some lemon juice to whatever you're doing, and that will help.
Yeah, I haven't eaten meat in 8 years, but plenty of people I know are big time grillers. And the metal bristle thing, God, I can't even imagine having metal bristles stuck in meat that you're eating and lodging them in your throat.
You can lodge them, but you don't even know that they're there. Some people have no idea that they're there, and they get treated for antibiotics and all these other things, and they can't find it because it's so minuscule until they go in and do like a major scan and find it. So
oh God.
Yeah. So there's people can drown in an inch of water in a bucket. So odds are that's probably not going to happen to most people, but some of these simple swaps just take the difficulty or the potential for illness or injury out of it. So
yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of ways that people can use parchment paper instead of foil. I was asking about the bundling because I know my brother-in-law, he does the aluminum foil with the bundles on the grill, and some people even do bundles in their oven actually and cook them in the oven. So the fact that you can do that with parchment paper, that would be the one thing where I think people would go, oh, well, I guess I'll still use aluminum foil for the bundles because that's not going to work for that. So the fact that it does is great.
Well, and even if you wanted to use the foil to, fold it up and get it to hold, you can use the parchment paper inside of that as well. So that the stuff isn't touching it. So, now people are like, well, now what do I do with this? I'm like, give it to your parents. They're going to use it still. No, my parents are like, I'm not giving that up. I'm like, that's fine. You don't have to. Like, it's not, this is whatever works for you, but you can literally use that and put the parchment paper inside so that when you do bundle it, it can stay closed or whatever, but it's not actually on the aluminum.
Yeah, that's key. And you mentioned aluminum and deodorant. We will do a simple swap and talk about deodorant in a future episode so that people, our listeners can learn for, what alternatives there are to
that work, alternatives that work, because a lot of people have changed out their deodorants and tried 72 different brands and they all suck. So yeah, I actually have I've got a good solution for that one. So
I'll tell a quick side story, and I'll have to share this in that episode too. I tried a rock deodorant years ago. Not for long. It did not work. Yeah, I did not smell good for that period of time. Not for long. I probably used it for, a couple of days, and I was like, this is not going to work. So we'll do that episode, and I'm excited about that because I think a lot of people don't veer away from or abandon their aluminum deodorant because they think nothing else works. So I'm excited for that simple swap because I think people are, looking for an alternative that actually works.
But the same goes for this. Like, what else is going to work with bundling or anything else or grilling for aluminum foil? So there's plenty of options. So parchment paper is a super easy, cheap way to manage it.
Yeah, it's very versatile, a lot more versatile than people realize, and it's not just for baking, to your point. So, well, thank you, Dr. Jen. As always, I learned a few things that I didn't know going into it. So, all right, well, thanks everybody for listening. You can join our school community. I'll put the link in the show notes below. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Join us wherever you like. And until next time, thanks everybody. Bye-bye. That wraps up another episode of Speaking Holistically. Thank you for listening. We hope today's conversation gave you new insights and inspiration to take charge of your health. If you enjoyed this episode and want to hear more, be sure and join the Speaking Holistically school community by clicking the link in the show notes. There, you'll get access to daily podcast episodes, weekly live Q&As, educational content, and so much more. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, be well, stay curious, and keep speaking holistically.